Good morning, everyone. Welcome to News in Motion. Today is March 14th, 2024. It is Thursday. It is Town Hall Thursday. The segment y'all know and love. So be sure that you bring the conversations, bring the topics that you want to discuss, and we will talk about that here on News in Motion. This is your first time tuning into News in Motion. First off, we just want to say thank you for your support. We could be found on LinkedIn, YouTube, or any audio and podcast platforms. And News in Motion is a news media outlet with relevant commentary, call to action news. And we also talk about voter registrations, headlines going on around the world. We also have a little bit of fun here on Thursdays. We like to call this our little Friday Eve. So we can like to give a little bit on the lighter side of news. If you are tuning in with us here live at 7:25 a.m., we just want to say good morning to you. Or if you're catching this in the replay, we just want to say good afternoon, good evening. We don't want to say good night because, usually when people say good night, that means they're tucking in for the day. So usually we don't want to say good night. But if you're watching this in the nighttime, thank you for joining the late talk with News in Motion. I see you, Miss Adrian, tuning in through YouTube. Good morning, Dr. Kim Carter, and good morning, Miss Regina Shorts. So if y'all are ready for a Town Hall Thursday, grab a paper, grab a friend, grab everything that you need for Town Hall Thursday. And we'll be right back after this brief intro.
News in Motion.
I was wondering where Isaiah was going with that. Grab your, what do you say? Grab your paper, grab your friend, grab whatever you need. I said, okay, where's he going with this? But he rounded that off. That's called thinking on your feet. So thank you, Isaiah, for doing that. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's see. I see Adrian. He shouted out already. Dr. Kim Carter. I know he shouted you out. Regina, he shouted you out. Well, let me get to Shirley Nicholson. Good morning, sister. And Sardinia, good morning. And to my brother, good morning. It's a slow start probably in Central Ohio because the rain fell after a beautiful day yesterday. Y'all, the rain has fallen and it's just going to calm everything out. I see you, Latrice Jones. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hey, y'all, do me a favor. Hit that like button as Adrian says. Smash the like button. Welcome to Town Hall Thursday. And of course, I know I said we were going to be doing part 2 of the information yesterday. Well, y'all may just good morning, Fred Jones. Been missing you. You're going to have to just get the Friday rundown because I don't think we're going to get to that because news has been hopping. It has been hopping since yesterday, since we signed off yesterday. And of course, I have to touch on all of that and some. Y'all, today is Thursday, March the 14th, 2024. And I am your host, Gail Dudley. Listen, if you are tuning in from audio or the podcast platform, I want to say good morning to you as well. I have not ignored you this week. With the Facebook page off, I'm now trying to rearrange how I have my setup. So I have something here, something there, something there, and something over there. So I'm trying to put them all together. And I'm like, oh, wait, I got to change my setup. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Keep your eyes on the road and all that you're doing. If you're at your office and you have your earbuds in, don't laugh too loud. I don't want you to get in trouble. So y'all, this is where we're going to start. The U.S. News reports that the Nigerian kidnappers have demanded over $620,000 for the release of over 280 students who were taken hostage last week. At least 500 people have been kidnapped over the past 2 weeks in a crisis that has become increasingly common since the 2014 kidnapping by Boko Haram. Last week, armed men stormed a school in a town in northern Nigeria, kidnapping over 280 students ages 18 to 15. The attack was followed by a kidnapping of 15 schoolboys in northwestern Sokoto. And after more than 200 people were kidnapped in northeastern Borno. So we just want to just be mindful of that. Pray for the children that they're all safe, and pray for the families who's I'm sure is devastating for them right now, just trying to wonder where their children are. Good morning, Davia. Good morning. So here we go. Is Dr. Antoinette on here yet? Here we go. Y'all, Georgia judge dismisses 6 of the 41 counts in the 2020 election interference case against former President Donald Trump and 5 co-defendants. Now, dismissed charges include soliciting state officials to violate their oath of office. This judge is saying that didn't happen. I don't know if he hasn't, it was all over the news. It's in Georgia. He's in Atlanta. There's no way he missed this. And Judge, if you're missing it, let me just remind you. I just want to find 11,780 votes. What is that? Like, what am I missing here? I see you, Marion. What am I missing here? Did you not hear that part? The exact words. And there's transcripts out there. There's a lot of video, audio out there. I just want to find 11,780 votes. What do you mean that there's nothing that has to do with soliciting state officials to violate their oath of office? Y'all, am I missing something here? I need y'all to talk to me. What am I missing? And what you're hearing also are my allergies. That sun was yesterday, rain today. Of course, is messed up today, but we're going to get through this. But y'all, that's what he said. So he has dismissed 6 of the 41 counts. CBS News report that the Fulton County judge on Wednesday tossed out several counts brought against former President Donald Trump and 5 others in a case involving an alleged attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. Now, the brief order from the Supreme Court Judge Scott McAfee states that 6 of the counts in the 41-count indictment returned by the Fulton County grand jury in August must be squashed. Of those 6, Trump was charged with 3 of them. But he's saying, nope, they got to go away. So we have Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Ray Stallings Smith, and Robert Cheeley all had pleaded not guilty to those charges. Well, now those charges have been dismissed, squashed or whatever. So Trump's attorney, of course, came out and said this ruling is a correct procedure, and this is a correct application of the law, as the prosecution failed to make specific allegations. Again, I just need you to find 11,780 votes. I don't get what that is. Marion says, not missing anything. The former guy solicited those votes. He did. So he has this ruling that's out there. He says that it lacked detail concerning, this is what the judge said in his brief, that it lacked detail concerning an essential legal element in the undersigned opinions. Well, I just want to find 11,780 votes. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. All right, y'all. So this bill was passed yesterday in the House. Shocking. Which also says that some of the Republican Party people are like, look here, Trump, you waited too late. I know you did a turnaround on Monday. I know you now want to support TikTok, although you signed an executive order in August of 2020, and then the judge halted it September 2020, right before the ban was to go into place, and you were really mad and angry about it. Yeah, we have receipts to say that you had issued an executive order. We have receipts to show that. And then all of a sudden now, you want to backtrack because you had one of the major billionaire investors at Mar-a-Lago last weekend, and you want now everybody to support TikTok. Well, all but 15 of your Republican posse over there said, no, we ain't doing that. No. We're going to go ahead and do the ban, and you're going to sit out there and do whatever it is you want to do. So, y'all, the 15 Republicans who voted against the bill, those are the ones who standing strong with the former guy. Of course, y'all know Matt Gaetz is out there. Y'all know Marjorie Taylor Greene was the first one out there talking about, let's not ban them. We need them. Then you also had Andy Biggs, Dan Bishop, Warren Davison, Clay Higgins, Nancy Mace, and others who, of course, stood with their guy. Y'all know those are the people who always support him. So those were the 15. Now, the legislation is rooted in the longstanding concerns from U.S. officials in China. Now, y'all know, is Yvonne on here? You know, I had to go look for it. Well, there's two bills. The first one is what they would call the rough draft. So I went through this one. And then the second one is the one that they actually passed on yesterday. So I want to read the first part of this act because it is very interesting. And I want you to tell me what name comes to mind when you hear these words. Okay, this is Bill 7521. The act is to protect the national security of the United States from the threat that posed by foreign adversary controlled applications such as TikTok and other successor applications or service, and any other application or service developed or provided by ByteDance Limited or an entity under the control of ByteDance. So just, is there any name that comes to your mind when you hear to protect the national security of the United States from the threat of posed by foreign adversary controlled application? I was like, I'm not thinking about TikTok. I'm thinking about a person at this point. But it's just interesting to watch all of this unfold. And so when I was going through this, one of the main points of this bill, it says it shall be unlawful for an entity to distribute, maintain, or update a foreign adversary controlled application by carrying out within the land or borders of the United States of any of the following. Then they list all those that are following. Good morning, Deborah Johnson. They list all those that are following. But I have some questions. Because when I picked this apart, I'm wondering, what about Meta? What about Google? What about Snapchat? What about others? What about YouTube? What about others? And what's the control? As we know, Meta is somewhat suppressing political content already. That's why we're now on YouTube and LinkedIn. We're not on Facebook. We'll use the Facebook page to post information, but we moved because they're suppressing all this type of content. So what about those? What makes this different? And do they not have, do others outside of our country have some sort of access to this information? The other question I want to ask, and I want y'all to have a conversation with me if you don't mind. The other question I have, what about businesses? Now, here's my guilty side. When I saw all this pass, I had 10 more parts of Risa Tisa. I was like, I got to get my 10 parts in before this goes away, possibly in 180 days. Now, the reason it's 180 days, they're giving the owners the opportunity to sell it off. Okay, why would they sell it off? Which also sounds like pressure tactic to me, but to sell it off or it's banned. So there's that's in this document. So I had to go watch my last 10 parts, which I'm just, wow. So yeah, I finished that. But what about businesses? And what about those who pay taxes in the U.S. from that? Good morning, Fergie Banks. All right, y'all, everybody pause. Side note, Fergie. Only because we were just doing the labels from the orders, because you can just hit something and the order and the label prints off and you put them on the box and you send it. You just gave us an address, not a city or state or zip code. So of course it came back, but we found it. So we're going to send it back. But I just want you to know, I said, she was so excited to order that book. She did not put her city, state, or zip code. So that thing came back. All right, Crystal, good morning to you as well. So y'all, what about that? What about businesses? So of course I had to go get me some critical thinking questions going. And this is what's going to start our town hall today. Remember, as long as we're having conversation, we will keep going. The moment the conversation ceases, we will shut it down. Part 2 that I was supposed to share with you today from the American Rescue Plan, you will have that in the Friday rundown so you can read it for yourself. But I really want to dig into this because this has now opened a can of worms. So what evidence? So if you're going to a town hall meeting and you have questions or you're wanting to reach out to your representatives, start writing down some of these questions because these are going to be key. What evidence supports the claim that TikTok possesses a significant national security threat to the United States, warranting a ban or force the sale of the application? Yeah, let's talk. These are questions we need to be asking. Because when I go through this, okay, it's of course ByteDance, China. Okay. But don't we have other things that are coming out of China? These are the questions that we have to be asking. So when I go through this, I'm looking at application violations. For example, it says an entity that violates subsections. And remember, when we're going over how to read this, I talk about the subsections, shall be subject to pay a civil penalty in an amount not to exceed the amount that results from multiplying $5,000 by the number of users. Now, y'all, currently the users in the U.S. are roughly 170 million monthly active users and 5 million businesses. 5 million businesses. Hey, what's up, Lori? So I want y'all to think about that. Roughly 170 million U.S. monthly active users and 5 million businesses. And by the way, as I shared yesterday, fair and balanced, President Joe Biden is now on TikTok since the Super Bowl. So let's talk. These are questions that we need to ask. So that's one of the questions. And if y'all have some, put them in the chat. Remember, we got to communicate. This is a town hall meeting. Number 2, how effective is the proposed legislation in addressing potential security concerns posed by TikTok's ownership, ByteDance, a Chinese company? So how effective is this proposed legislation? How could they have oversight, even if they sold off the majority and they kept a portion of it? What does that look like? And how does that change? What does the platform, can there be controls on that platform on this side so that we're not, again, I mentioned 5 million businesses who pay taxes in the United States of America. Let's talk about that. Y'all there? Y'all quiet this morning. Come on, y'all. What impact could a ban on TikTok have on freedom of expression and the digital landscape, particularly considering its popularity among young users? Now, I want y'all to go back to 2020 election. Go back there. It was the young people on TikTok who was getting other young people out to vote, even the day of the election. However they were doing it, vote for this person, vote for that person, vote, write your name in, whatever they were saying. There were major young people in 2020 on TikTok encouraging other young people to go out and vote. Even before the election, they were encouraging young people to register to vote. And that registration for young people really soared in 2020 when it came to TikTok users. Let's talk about it. Another question, and then also I want to go back to freedom of expression. Can we not express ourselves? And how is this different from Google or Meta or Snapchat or Threads? And I know Meta is Threads and Facebook and Instagram. But what does that look like? Let me keep going. And y'all quiet. Don't forget, when you stop chatting with me in the chat, the town hall is over. Are there alternative measures besides a ban or for sale that could mitigate potential national security risk associated with TikTok while still allowing users to access the platform? Crystal says, I'm quiet because I'm here to get educated. All right, Crystal. I see that. Okay. Marion says, what's the reason a former guy wanted to ban TikTok? He wanted to ban TikTok because this is my opinion. I need to pull that executive order too. So I will do that and we'll talk about that on Tuesday. I should have pulled that executive order, my oversight. But my opinion when I was looking at some of the articles was because there were so many young people out here getting people registered to vote back in the first part of 2020. So January, February, March. So I think that had to do with because they didn't know which way they were going to vote. Davia says precisely. My cynical side says it's another form of voter suppression, this time of the youth vote. Yes, yes, because all of this connects back to the young people. Everything, like even when I'm reading this, they even talk about bullying. Now, I know there's bullying on Facebook and on Snapchat and to some degree on Instagram. I have not seen, and I went looking, searching for bullying aspect on TikTok. I don't see it. I don't see it. It might be minimal, but I don't see it. Deborah says she's driving. Honey, you keep driving. You just keep driving. How'd you put that in the chat? If you drive, and I'm messing with you, Deborah. But I don't see the bullying here. So are we really under a national security risk? Now, I want to go back and remind you all of something. Yeah, I'm saying it. Now that we have the two, we know who's going to be the nominee for the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, and of course, Joe Biden for the Democratic Party. The moment they make that announcement, I shared this with y'all on Tuesday. The moment they make the announcement, the moment that it is completely official from the RNC, he will begin getting security briefings. I read that to you. I shared that with y'all. I told y'all that. And then that the intelligent people are pretty concerned about that because of all these indictments. So y'all worried about TikTok? Let's talk about it. He's going to be getting national security briefings so that he can be prepared if he in fact gets back in office come January 2025. And we're going to get to the project 2025 too. All right, we're going to get there. I'm trying to find somebody who's knowledgeable about it to come here and share during the town hall meeting. But they're worried about this as national security. I got something else we should be concerned about. Yeah, then that person has a name. So let's keep going. How might a ban on TikTok affect the global tech industry and competition in the social media market? You're talking about TikTok. Should we be looking at AI? Is AI not a national security threat? We're already dealing with misinformation and disinformation, even with news sources on this. I'll give you an example. As I was digging for this and the original of this bill, I kept running in and I was like, that's not it. Because the name of it was off. It was misspelled. There were different things that were happening. I had to keep searching. So I had to call a friend, call a lifeline. I said, hey, this is what's popping. They're like, make sure you go to the Congress website with the seal. I said, well, there's another one out there. They're like, yeah, that's an AI formulated one. Why are we concerned about AI? Because it kept sending me to the wrong site. And because I'm on there so much, I was like, this doesn't look right. And I kept digging. We're worried about this. Should we be worried about stuff happening on our own land? Of what's happening there and looking at some of these things that are happening? What safeguards are in place? Adrian said high risk. Yes. What safeguards are in place to ensure that any company acquiring TikTok would not perpetuate the same security risk or compromise user data? Don't we have that being compromised right now? How many of you been hacked by Facebook? Like, we go on there and say, I don't accept any friend requests from me. I've been hacked. I now say, look, you already know we friends. So if you get another friend request, you know that's fake. But that's been happening for how long? Is that a national security threat? Because how are people easily able to hack our Facebook accounts, our Instagram accounts, other accounts? Is that not a national security threat? To what extent does the proposed legislation consider potential economic repercussions for both ByteDance and other companies involved in the app's ecosystem? And I was just going through different things and I was looking at the connecting dots of all of these different places. I said, okay, we have Meta, we have Google, we have Snapchat. We have LinkedIn that you can't really just set aside. We have LinkedIn. And then we have Pinterest. Pinterest is now, if you're on Pinterest now, you see a lot of things that's dealing with politics. It's no longer the flowers, the recipes, the interior design, or the fashion. There's a lot on Pinterest. We have Spill. We have the Shade Room. We have so many factors. Why are we only zoning in on TikTok? Lori says Facebook happens way too much. Crystal says, who originally initiated the ban on TikTok? The originator came from the name of Donald J. Trump. He was the originator. And then number 8, how can policymakers balance national security concerns with the principles of international trade and diplomacy in addressing the issue of TikTok ownership? Y'all, there's so much there. So the conversation continues, but I also have a few things just in speaking with some of my social media people like Tonisha. Tonisha helped me, Amber, others, Carl, others helped me just to look at what do we do with some of this social media? Well, we have our responsibility. We have to move beyond just posting or having someone else post for us, but also to go back and engage with people and see the engagement of our posts. Adrian says TikTok Shop has made lots of people money. Great form of e-commerce. Yeah, 5 million businesses. 170 million US monthly active users and 5 million businesses. And yeah, let's not forget, I'm sorry, y'all, I had to finish my 10 parts, but I watched all 50, 8 hours and something, but mine spread it out against several days. But because she captures you, she's a great storyteller. She captures you. She's now certified. She got all of her beta money. She made a post about it. Y'all, she's now going to London and Paris. I hope she gets her BMW, that navy blue with the cognac interior. I really hope she gets it. I hope she can get a house. But they paid her all the back money because at first they weren't going to pay her. They have paid her all her back money. She's getting paid for views. She's getting a lot. That's her business now. And to me, that's what a blessing to take your story through the trauma and put it out there. And she's a great storyteller. Hey, Davia, you need her on Tales from the Shaker for real. We're going to have to figure out how to get her on Tales from the Shaker. We need to. Yeah, Davia, you got to do that. So a lot of money is tied up in here. So if it bans, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen with these individual businesses and these people? What does that look like? But there's so much to unpack, and we can't just stop at TikTok. But again, let me go through on some things that I was suggesting. We have a responsibility for those of us who use it to see what's on there, see what's happening. For example, we were on Facebook. Isaiah and other team members would block people that would come to try to sell you all things or put something up there about buy this, do that. We block those people. So that's a responsibility for those of us who are on these platforms. We have the responsibility to make sure our brand stays intact. Our brand. So you have to identify your brand and what it is that you bring to the table. Engage with your people on your platform. If there are DM messages, even those that are out there requesting to see you, we still have a responsibility not just to ignore them, but to go in to see what it's about, take a screenshot, delete, or respond, whatever that is, and however that comes through. Davey, we need to think about that. She needs to come on your show like ASAP. She needs to come on now. She needs to come on sooner than later. So yeah, let me look for something. I'm gonna check out something. I'll text you. Now I can't promise you today, but I know somebody. Let me check something out. And I'm not saying that in a boastful way, y'all. That person's name just came to my mind. There may be a connection there. But anyway, We have that responsibility. We have the responsibility when we're putting things out there every now and then. And I have not been good on this end. Every now and then you have to go back out there and reintroduce yourself. Every now and then you need to go out there and put your standards back out there on your page. Every now and then you need to check what some things are. Y'all know my thing, never delete it, but go back and say, hey, 2 years ago when I said this, my mind has changed now. Here's how I'm dealing with A, B, C, or D. We have a responsibility on our social media. So make sure we're doing that, y'all. Make sure we're doing that. All right, y'all, just for the heck of it, all of you Dollar Tree people, I'm one of them. I was in there yesterday. Y'all, Dollar Tree, they're shutting down $600 they're shutting down 600 Family Dollar stores this year. They're shutting down 370 General Dollar stores, and they're shutting down 30 Dollar Tree stores all this year. All this year. First of all, I didn't know all of them were connected, okay? I didn't know that. I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea. So 600 Family Dollar stores, 370 General Dollar stores, and then 30 Dollar Tree stores. They're shutting those down. You can find the greatest things in those stores, but they're shutting them down. So I just wanted y'all to know, if I'm sad, you got to be sad. Just like I told y'all about the cicadas. I know some of y'all still mad about the cicadas. I don't know why you mad, but you mad. All right, now I'm going to just go ahead and say it because I got this email yesterday with this picture. And I'm like, you live in California. How'd you get your book already? And Gretchen was saying, thank you. Then I had an inbox message from from Justin and his partner in Plano saying, oh, girl, my book came in. It looks amazing. I was like, how'd you get your book already? So y'all, some people, they all said they were praying for it and they got theirs. So y'all just might have to pray harder for y'all to get y'all's book faster. I was like, this is crazy. So again, we want you all, when you get them, post a picture, connect. You can get them. They're not on Amazon yet. Oh, by the way, some of you have been asking, will we do a paperback? No. I had Ingram send me a paperback just to get a feel for what it would look like, because so many of you were asking for that. And my rep at Ingram said, this doesn't look good. So when she sent it, I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good. It's supposed to be hardback. There will be a Kindle version. Carl Wright is helping me get that up. There will be a Kindle version, but we're not going to let them go live on Amazon until the majority of you let me know that your books have arrived. So hopefully we'll get it up on Amazon by the end of next week, because it's only a push of a button and it goes live on Amazon. And when I say Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walgreens, Walmart, Books A Million. Once we hit that button, it'll go to all the bookstores. But we wanted those of you who pre-ordered first to get your signed copy first, so that you will have that. Crystal said you got to pray harder. Listen, because I was like, she's really holding that book. She in California, she in Oakland. How'd she get the book already? So she has hers. So they're coming. They're out there. Don't y'all be beating up the postal person looking to see if your book is there. So they're coming. And then Fergie, yours is a little late because you didn't put a city, state, or zip on yours. All right, the inspirational message for today, and we're out of here. Oh, before I do that, we're here next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And as I shared with you, we're not taking a whole month because I've been able to balance it, just doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't feel exhausted or tired or anything like that, or burned out. So, but I am still taking time during the Resurrection Easter season. So we're here next week, but then we're not the week leading up to Easter, and we're not on the week after Easter. So those 2 weeks we're disappearing. Then we'll be back going all the way through June. And then the young people takeovers in July. I am taking the entire month off of August. Yeah, that's where I got my freedom last year. So I got to stick to that August time. And then we'll be back pushing it September, October, November. We will get you through the election. And then y'all have to pray while we're praying to see where we will go from that. Now, I can guarantee you this. If the former guy gets back in office, I'm out. There's no way I will be able. That's too much stress and burden. I'm out. If the current guy remains in, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Some of my team have said for me just to switch to inspirational messages with a little mix of news. I don't know. So y'all can join us in advance with praying for that to see where that takes us. So here's the inspirational message for today. Today's inspirational message is hold on. Just hold on. I believe things are about to shift. I believe the paradigm is about to shift. I believe the atmosphere is about to shift. So just hold on. I'm not prophesying or anything like that. I'm just saying hold on. Hold on. Sometimes storms can become so heavy and you can become so burdened. And it feels like, what's that commercial? Life comes at you fast. That we get it. But hold on. Hold on. I have been hearing from people and stories from people who I have had conversations with for maybe the last 10, 15, even to some cases 20 years, that they're like, this has been a long time, but I'm able to see, I'm able to breathe, I'm able to make choices. I see why God told me not yet, not yet, not yet. And now the manifestation of God is all upon them and everything that they're doing because they made the decision to hold on, to hold on. Lately, and I've got to be careful when I say this. Lately, I've been talking with people, and when they share their stories, I sit back and I'm like, I don't need to complain about anything. When I hear about children, there's a lot of children who are wrestling. I'm talking school age children who are wrestling. They're depressed. Some are, they're being bullied. Some are dealing with some heavy stuff. Some are dealing with heaviness in their homes. They're depressed. They don't know what to do. Their grades are failing. A lot's going on, y'all. We need to pray for our young people. We need to pray for our children. I was in a conversation with a teacher who my daughter just loved in high school, and I ended up having a relationship with her. We still stay in contact. And she was just speaking to me. She says, pray for me. She goes, I may be ending my teaching career. She says, because that I can't even get to teaching because I'm trying to help somebody deal with a family situation or abuse or this, that, or the other. She goes, and then we have a responsibility to report. She said, so of course I'm reporting. She said, but it becomes a sad thing of what's happening. She was also sharing with me the things that are happening in sports in high school and even middle school and the coaches. And she was talking about, as some of you all may know, hopefully you read this story already, the story where the daughter had a sleepover and the father drugged the children. Did y'all see that? And he's now been arrested. I believe he's now out on bail, which I don't believe he should have been, but I guess he spiked their smoothies. Did y'all see that? That's common listening to this teacher friend of mine. That's common. It's just crazy. So then my daughter's former cheerleading coach, she and we meet up every now and then. Again, just the connections that we made. And she was sharing with me that she had to stop coaching cheerleading because of the things that these young girls were doing to stay thin, the things that these young girls were doing to be liked. And she says, you can only say so much. She said she started bringing a counselor into the cheerleading practices so that girls could have somebody to talk with. Y'all, we don't know what these young people are dealing with. And they're saying that it's worse now after COVID. So we got to keep praying for our young people. Virgie says she saw that. Yeah, we got to keep praying for our young people. So I want to also pray for I've been trying to bring out different prayers. I want to pray for Katie Britt's children. And not just her children, but all elected officials' children. Because if they're away majority of their time, dealing with legislation, reading bills and so forth. Look, these are small compared to what they read on a regular basis. I know they have their aides and things that are reading it too, but a good official will also read it themselves. so that they have a better understanding before they speak from it or vote from it. They may have summaries, and I get that as well. But I want to pray for the children, and not just elected officials, but any executives' children. What do the children go through if they do not have that parent in the home and they may be struggling or going through things? Yes, they may have nannies, babysitters, all those things, but there's no one like a parent or a guardian. So I want us to pray for them. I do. All right, y'all. That's all I have for today. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. So let's stay tuned and see what's going to be happening with TikTok as well. But until Tuesday, y'all, I am your host, Gail Dudley. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you have not signed up, subscribed to the Friday Rundown, you can go to gaildudley.com. A pop-up box will pop up. Complete your information. We will have the American Rescue Plan in there, and I'll even throw in the TikTok bill in there as well, so you can have that. All right, y'all. Until Tuesday, y'all know what I say. Stay well, and everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
NewsInMotion.